Nice to see you, nice to meet you. For any of you who are new to the Degreed journey, we might actually be meeting for the first time. But I am Degreed co-founder and founding CEO. I stepped down as CEO of Degreed actually to work on democracy reform, but continue to serve as the executive chairman and have since started two more companies, one called LearnIn, one called Book Club. But I'm here as passionate today as I've ever been. The mission of Degreed to jailbreak the college degree remains as important as ever. But if not the college degree, then what? We're going to be talking about skills, making skills the currency of the workplace. Now let me ask you a question. Your companies, on average, how many months does it take on average for you to upskill the average employee? Answer it in your head. I'm going to give you the math, because here's the actual averages. Across your companies, on average, employees get 24 minutes a week to learn. To learn a new skill, on average, takes 480 hours. At that pace, people are learning a skill every 24 years. The average across your companies, the L&D spend per employee on average is about $1,100 per year. On average, it costs $24,800 to upskill a person. Do the math again. On average, it'll take you 24 years to develop a single skill in your average employee. On average, you are upskilling your people at a rate of 4 skills per every 100 years. Thank you, that was it. We've got to do better. It's an imperative, it is actual imperative. The half-life of skills has come from 15 down to 2.5 years. If you do nothing to develop yourself, 2.5 years from now, you will be half as skilled relative to the workforce as you are today. Now, they only gave me 10 minutes, so we've got to be quick and tight on this. We're going to talk about getting skills right. To do this, I'm going to leave you with these two imperatives. Be intentional and be inclusive. So I felt very vindicated when I saw Degreed's 2021 How the Workforce Learns report. I have been preaching this for years and actually have never had any data to back it up until now. But in the How the Workforce Learns, correlated different things with the net promoter scores of organizations that had high-performing learning cultures. You know what correlates with better learning culture? Intentionality. Helping people learn to perform better in their current role, helping people prepare for their next role. You know what correlates with negative performance? Curiosity. Now, why is that? I will be honest, I woke up this morning, I spent over an hour on TikTok before I rolled out of bed. In a world where information was scarce, curiosity was a requisite driving force for you to obtain knowledge and develop yourself. In a world where information is abundant and we are awash in it, curiosity will kill you. The skill that carries a premium is no longer curiosity, it's intentionality. How many of you have a stated goal of what skill you are currently trying to develop in yourself, much less your team or your employees? We have to be intentional. Now, I have shared this quote over the years from the Degreed Lens stage, and I used to hold it up as a champion of what was coming, what must be. of the future, of forward thinking. This is Randall Stevenson in the New York Times in 2016 saying there is a need for our employees to retool themselves, then they should not expect to stop. People who do not spend 5 to 10 hours a week learning will obsolete themselves with the technology. This was my rallying cry for years. It's now upon us, all of us, to be lifelong learners, to be learning 5 to 10 hours per week. Well, let me tell you, I now share this quote, having as we all must to learn about the unintended consequences of the actions we take. We are suffering through a world of unintended consequence from technology platforms and technology leaders. And at some level, we are no different. So I share this quote 5 years later, quite differently. So the AT&T Workforce 2020 initiative was one of the most progressive, one of the most successful upskilling initiatives ever conducted in the world, in corporate history. Over 50% of the employees participated over 4.5 years. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars. They created the first MOOC degree with Georgia Tech. They were the first corporate partner of Udacity. They put Udacity on the map. They put MOOCs on the map. It was very progressive and in many ways very successful. But I'm here to issue the warning, the clarion call of our unintended consequences, which is the biggest barriers to upskilling are time and money. And if you expect your employees to participate, to learn 5 to 10 hours a week on their own time, which is how the program was conducted, do you know what happens? We all have 24 hours in a day, but we don't all have the same amount of discretion over our time. If you have a lower salary and a longer commute, you spend more time in your car. If you're a single parent, your discretionary time goes down. If you're a caretaker of an ailing parent, your discretionary time goes down. If you hold a second job, your discretionary time goes down. If you don't have good internet connection at home, your ability to learn on your own time goes down. And you know what happened? 4 years, over 50% participation rate, over-indexed on married white men with stay-at-home spouses because they are who had the most discretion over their time. I'm here to issue you the warning. Most of your upskilling initiatives are working against the diversity and inclusion initiatives that you are running at the very same time. As companies, it's ironic, it's paradoxical that we are now have gotten to our leaders, the awareness, the resourcing. Companies are issuing these commitments of hundreds of millions of dollars. Amazon, $700 million upskilling initiative. JP Morgan Chase, $350 million upskilling initiative. We've gotten to where the need is there, the awareness is there, the resourcing is there. But the biggest barrier is time. And it is an absurdity that companies are willing to spend your hard cash dollars to try and solve this problem, but unwilling to spend soft cash time. Willing to spend this much money and this much time to get this kind of outcome, when you could spend this much money and this much time and get this kind of outcome. It's just an irony. It's a paradox, and we have to get past it. As you set out to develop your upskilling agenda, make sure to do so with inclusivity. The last note I will say on this is when you think about our past, where we have come from, higher education has been the primary engine of skilling the American and global workforce. And think how hard and how long we have fought to make the engine of higher education inclusive, equitable, and accessible. We have Title IX, we have lawsuits, we have research, we have policy, we have decades of it, of debate, of critique. But as we look to the future, you will learn more over a lifetime of learning administered by the hands of HR and L&D than you will, in your lifetime, administered to you by a university and professors. You will learn more in your corporate environment than you will in the university setting as we look to the future. And now let me ask all of you, think of your own L&D department, think of your own HR department. How much debate, critique, research is there? Do you even know in your upskilling, learning data? Who is participating by population? Do you know who is being let up and through your organization and who is being left behind? Do you even have the data? My guess is you don't. And we certainly don't have the decades of debate and research and critique and policy. But where we're going in the future, this room is the engine of upskilling. And we've got to get it right. We can't afford the unintended consequences. It's important that we're inclusive. For all the tips and tricks on how to do this, I would point you guys to the 2021 How the Workforce Learns report. I love the data and the research in there. I would call it sort of tips and tricks and some exposure as to what kind of good looks like. But for how Degreed is sinking our teeth into this problem, how we are continuing to drive and to innovate, I'm going to turn the time over to Corrine to take you all through the Degreed roadmap and what we have in store for all of you. Thank you so much.